Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Tara with Mayhem Crafty Cards, and today is our collab day with Michelle from Scrap Secrets and Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations. So for my card, for our theme today, it was Lawn Fawn Spring, and I had just gotten the Build a Bird Feeder, all their new release, so I chose to do a little shaker. This was really easy to put together. Pardon my speech, I've had some dental work done, so I'm a little lispy. But so today we're going to be making this, and this was super easy to make and put together. Didn't really take me that much time except for like die cutting everything. So I went ahead and die cut everything that I needed for this card ahead of time. So this is the tree branches backdrop in the landscape. So you get the backdrop and then you get the two additional sets of leaves to put on. And I just cut that out of some craft cardstock because I wanted my branches to be in this craft color. And the other one is the Build a Bird Feeder. So you get everything you need. This is a little part to make the shaker, but I did mine a different way. So what I did was I went ahead and die cut 8 of these, 8 of the bases. I used because it's going to be a purple feeder, I used one of my purple alcohol markers and just colored in the sides, just any parts that you would see the white. So I'm going to glue these all together and show you guys how I put this shaker together. So I will be back in just a second after I've glued these together. So now that I've got these all glued together, I'm going to let them sit for a minute just so that I can go ahead and start adding the leaves onto the tree. And I did them in 2 different colors, and I'm using Altenew paper to do this. So the bigger leaves I did in a darker green, and then the smaller leaves I did in like a minty, I think it is their mint green. And I love this glue press from My Sweet Petunia. It has really helped make my work a lot faster than what I normally would work. So yeah, this month our collab is Lawn Fawn Spring, and of course we all have Lawn Fawn because, you know, we just do. So I'm just going to go ahead and put all these leaves together. And like I said, I've had some dental work, so you have to excuse my my speech. It will get better. I promise. I hope. So like I said, this was super easy to put together. For the background, I use the, of course, my favorite cloud stencil, which is, I cannot remember where I get it from, where I even got it from, but I panicked when I thought that I'd lost it. So I scoured the house. Thankfully, I already had a background already done, and I was able to put this together to show you guys my finished card before we started the video. So like I said, these are really easy just to pop on here, and I really like the contrast of the colors of the greens that I used. And using the glue press has made it, you know, so much quicker just to plop that glue down. I'm not fighting with a bottle. And it just makes it a lot easier to use. And I'm sorry if you guys could hear my air conditioning earlier. It's finally nice in Ohio, and my kids were dying, so we decided to turn the air on. Lord only knows how long the nice weather will last. I'm sure we'll have another cold day because that's just how Ohio is. So this is a fun little set. I have a thing for birds. I have a ton of bird feeders outside. Every year I put them up. I think last year was the only year that I did not put any feeders up, and that's just because we were so busy during the year. It was just hard to keep up. So see how quick that was with just having the glue press, and I did forget one big leaf there. That and already having everything cut out already. So it's pretty easy. Like I said, it's just pretty easy to put together. Like, this is probably one of my favorite sets from Lawn Fawn recently. I can't say for, you know, all time, because I love the little mice sets too. But for some reason, the birds got me. And I also got the birdhouse set from Concord and Ninth that they just released. So this is pretty, you know, pretty repetitive. You're just gluing down like the other sets of leaves, and I do overlap the lighter and the darker. And this little pickup tool from Trinity Stamps says I can't do anything without it. Like, I have to have this guy, because if not, I would never be able to get these little pieces picked up. That and my reverse tweezers, which you guys will see me use here in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all glued down, and I will be right back. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'm going to set this aside to, you know, go ahead and dry. And I'm going to bring out my favorite cloud stencil. And just go ahead. And this was just a white panel that I had extra that was cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink blend the background. And I'm going to be using, let's see, what do I want to use today? I think I'm going to use Mermaid Lagoon, Distress Oxide, and Peacock Feathers. I just like the way these blues look together. So yeah, other than dental work doing that, it's just been a lot of end of school. So when I do stencil, I like to come off my stencil first before I even start like bringing it to my paper. Like, as you can see, this is a little bit dark, which is fine. I don't mind it. I think it gives really good contrast with the craft. So it's not as, it doesn't all look the same. And it just gives it a little something extra. And I like this stencil because you can do the clouds in so many different ways. And I like to kind of angle, and I'll go in. Let me wipe this off. I'm using a paper mat today because it's not, it doesn't reflect when I'm filming, which I really like. I hate to have the big reflections when I'm trying to film. And I just come in and just barely like graze over any of the clouds that are just a little bit too stark. So I just go through and just do all of this stenciling. And like I said, I don't mind if I go off the side because it has different shapes all around it. This is probably why I love this stencil so much. Like, you can get so many different looks just with this stencil alone. So what have you purchased any of the new Lawn Fawn release? Have you seen any of the new Lawn Fawn release? I really like this one. I mean, I ordered from the last one as well, so it doesn't really say a whole lot about me. I really enjoy Lawn Fawn. Just their general overall, designs. I know for some people it's a little too cutesy, but I enjoy it. So like I said, I always come off the stencil first before anything else because I don't want that super heavy ink just laying on, I don't want to get a huge thing of just one color all over the place. I'm going to do one more little layer down here. And it's really not going to matter a whole lot because your branches are going to cover most of this. So it's just a matter of, picking out spots that you want to highlight. And usually I would use a grip mat, but today I just felt like, winging it and see what happens. And I don't mind if my stencil moves because it just makes it look a little bit more realistic. And you can also go over top of the other clouds as well. So that's it. That's all it is for this stencil. And like I said, I just go over those spots that I find that aren't as, they're just a little bit too stark for me. So there is that all done. I'm going to set this one to the side and we're going to finish putting together our bird feeder. So you'll need a piece of acetate, and I like to put acetate on the front and the back, especially when I am making a shaker. I just feel like it gives it, it's just a little bit more sturdy, and your bits aren't really going to fall out. Plus, you're using less adhesive when you're doing, when you're putting your acetate on. Usually, I do not use liquid glue to do the acetate, but with this being such a small area, it didn't really bother me that much to add that on there. And see, this is what happens when you ink blend. Your fingers get all yucky. So I'm just going to cut a piece of acetate that I have. Just cut a little square because I'm not going to need a whole lot of it. And I'm just going to secure this down. And then I'm not going to touch this. I'm going to leave it be so the glue can dry. I do not like that piece of acetate. It looks like something got stuck on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that down. And then this guy is going to also go to the side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another piece of acetate on the back of this one. And just, this is what's going to hold our bits. So again, with the same thing, I'm going to flip it over. Add my liquid glue. Just all around it. And this was a super fun, easy shaker to make. Like sometimes I will spend so much time making shaker cards just because I want it to look a certain way. Let me see, this one might be too small of a piece. Nope, just right. So we're going to lay that guy to the side and let him dry. And then we're going to work on our birds. So I have 2 little birds that I cut out. Now with this card, for some reason, I cut the same birds. Don't know why. Just, I obviously wasn't paying very much attention. So in the set, you get these 2 little rings, or 2 little circles. And this is for their eyes. So it's really easy. You're just going to pop your glue on the back. And place that guy down. And while that guy's drying, I am going to go wash my hands real quick because this glue is driving me insane. Okay, so some of it came off, some of it didn't. So they come with these little dies to cut out their feet. And I like to kind of angle them to where they're either going to sit on top of the bird feeder, like this one probably will, or angle them down so it looks like they're eating the food. So these guys are like super simple to put together. Just a little bit of glue. And you just plop them down there and there's your feet. So this guy I'm going to tilt up just a little bit because he's going to be already done eating at the feeder. And then this is the one I'm going to angle down so that it looks like he's eating out of the bird feeder. So again, it's just about how you place them on there. So you can tilt them in any direction. So this guy's going to come down so it looks like he's eating the bird seed. And then I also forgot to put his little eyeball on, which is, I mean, it's so easy. Lawn Fawn does make their interactive dies pretty easy to use. I'm going to use my pickup stick for this one because my hands are still low. So there they are. Aren't they adorable? So with this guy, I'm going to also, now I did their wings in a different color. So I'm going to glue their wings down as well. Again, with the pickup stick because it was super, it's easier to use. And just a little bit of glue. You don't need a whole lot of adhesive. So his wing is going to go there. And then I cut the other wing in, you know, a darker yellow. And these are all from, all these paper is from Altenew. It's just their little paper packs. So it makes it easy when you have smaller die cuts to use. So now that these guys are done, we're going to push them to the side. And then this is going to be our little feed that's on the outside. Now with this one, I added some to just add a little bit of extra interest to the little pile of bird seed. And I just did 4 quick little dots. and then just picked random ones to put on there. And it's nice because it cuts the little seeds all at once. So you're not having to, you know, come in and use a bunch of different dyes just to get the little seeds done. So that one is done. So we're going to, again, push this one to the side, and we're going to put together our shaker now. So the great thing about doing them like this and stacking them is that you don't have to worry about your foam tape, you know, your bits getting stuck to the side. I will go in and trim off all of the extra adhesive, or all the extra acetate. And you can use anything. I mean, I've used packaging before. Since I make so many shaker cards, I always have acetate on hand. But yeah, you can definitely use like any of your stamp packaging, anything that your stamps come in, or dies. And it works really well. So I almost was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to make this video just because of the dental work I had done and how it affects my speech. I'm a little bit self-conscious of it still, but it is getting a lot better. Now, had this been like a week ago, probably wouldn't have happened. So there you can see that we have our acetate cut on this one, and then we're going to cut the acetate on this one as well. And then we're going to add the extra pieces to the bird feeder. And these are just like little accent decoration pieces. I like that I cut them in 2 different shades of purple. It just kind of offsets it a little bit. And you can, you know, you can color these. You can cut them out of white cardstock. You know, you could pretty much cut them out of any color. And I did do an extra one, so that way, in case I had any other white lines on this, I could cover it up with the same purple that's going on the top. So let me glue that guy down here. And like I said, this guy is my best friend because I can do so much very quickly and not fight with my glue bottle. I mean, I make a mess, but that is also okay. So they're super easy to line up, which is also very nice. Okay, so we're going to set this guy back to the side to dry, and now we're going to decorate this one. And instead of doing the 2 different shades of purple, I'm doing 2 of the lighter shades of purple. So this is going to go right on the top. So this is your top piece that's going to hang, or the top of the bird feeder. I must have used too much glue there. And like I said, it just lines up so nicely. So there's the top, and then here's the I love the bottom because it makes it look 3-dimensional. So I'm just going to take a little bit of, get my reverse tweezers here, a little bit of glue. And for the most part, I do use liquid adhesive because sometimes I need to move these around just because they don't line up straight the very first time I do them. Sorry, my dog was whining at something she seen at the park. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue this guy down. And then this is pretty much finished. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to take our little bit of bird feed. I'm going to add some adhesive on the back of that, and I'm going to add it right here to the front of this window. I'm going to try not to get it on the acetate because it just smears a little bit when it does. So if I line him up there. And this is where my little yellow bird's going to go, because it's going to look like that he is eating the bird seed. And this guy I glue on for, I don't mind gluing him on first because I know that he's going in that spot. Now, since I finally figured out that I put my birds on the wrong, you know, I cut 2 of the same birds yesterday and couldn't figure out why the wings didn't, you know, line up. I should have used my tweezers. So we're going to set him kind of on the edge. And there he is. So for my for my shaker bits, I'm just going to be using the seeds that I cut out. And some of them are a darker shade because I want them to kind of look like sunflower seeds, because that's what's in my bird feeder. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these all in here. Move this guy up here. And it just makes for a fun, super cute shaker card. Like, I made sure I cut out different colors of seeds just so that there would be a variety. And this is just all out of craft cardstock. And you can add the white gel pen. You can add all kinds of like little details to it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just forget. And then I'll realize later that I didn't do that. And we'll try to go back in and then just end up messing it up. So if I don't remember from the start, I just kind of not do it. And it cuts out, each die cuts out a good many, you know, seeds. So you're not just having to, you know, do 10,000 passes through your die cut machine. And then I'm going to add some seed beads to this because I want to hear that little bit of shake, which is something I didn't do with my first shaker card because I could not for the life of me find them. So now that I have them in, I'm going to get some of my seed beads here. And I'm just going to put a couple in there and they're going to go all over the place now. Since I did so many layers, the well is big enough to where these will shake freely and not get stuck. So now all I have to do is glue on this part of the bird feeder to this part. And that's why I like doing all these layers. It just makes it so much easier. And I don't mind having glue on this acetate because you're not going to see it. Nobody's going to see it. Unless I, you know, mess up and get it on places it shouldn't be. So this all should just line up nicely. And now we have a little shaker bird feeder. Now I did cut out the little string and the little hole that attaches to everything. I'm going to give this a second to dry before I do that. But I am going to attach the little string to this little circle that's going to go on the back. And then take my reverse tweezers and pinch them together because I will lose them if not. Sorry if I'm off camera a little bit. I'm just trying to get this figured out here. And I'm going to cut down some of this little string too, so it's not going to be super long when I hang it to the other feeder. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this. And like I said, nobody's going to see the back of this. It's going to be on your card base. Grab my reverse tweezers here. And add this guy right on there. Now it does get a little thick as you're doing your layers. So you just want to be careful when you're adding this on here. Not to squish it down too much because it will flatten out your layers some. So now we can go ahead and put together the card. So what I did first, when I first was doing this, like I would put it up against the background here, and this little string is going to go in between this leaf or this branch and the border. There we go. So that way, when we glue it to our background, you're going to be able to see some of these leaves and branches through the die cut. Now this guy goes up here. So it's just a matter of like, just kind of finding the spot that you want it and getting it tacked down. So since I know he's going to go there, I am going to go ahead and add that little bit of glue, and I'm just going to flip the whole thing over, add a little bit of glue right where I want that bird feeder to be, and then I'm going to snip off the extra. I'm going to use my reverse tweezers again just to keep that spot in place. And while that's drying, I'm going to start getting my background together. And now I can move all these extra pieces, and I'll show you where the second bird is going to go, because he's going to sit on top of the little bird feeder. And I am going to go ahead and glue down some of these branches just because it will keep it from moving too much while I'm flipping it back over and gluing it to my base. So that's dry enough. We're going to go ahead and flip her back over. And now we are going to add this whole thing to this background. So as you can see, it just kind of gives it a little bit of pop. There's no foam tape at all, so you don't have to worry about any type of foam tape. I'm going to glue this guy down right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my glue around the border. Now I find it easier to do it this way than trying to do the border of that cover plate, because those limbs are just, they're thin, they're just a little fragile. So I try not to move them around a whole lot and just add my adhesive to my base, or my card front, not my base. And yes, that's a little bit messy. It's okay. It will be fine. So now I'm just going to adhere this. And I did not add a sentiment to these yet because I don't know what I want to put as my sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and catch any parts that I feel like are too loose and adhere them down. Like I'm going to add it to the bottom of this leaf here and just kind of stick it down there. And then once everything's dry, you can take your scissors and snip off any pieces that you don't want on your card. So for this little bird, we are going to stick him